Okay, so this is the real first recording for I'm actually going to back out of this. This is really the first recording for 1121. And as you can see, we have student detail working. What we're going to do is add the edit and delete buttons. I'm going to do it two places. I'm going to do it in the list, and I'm going to do it on the detail page. The detail page is obviously the most straightforward option, so we're going to do that one first. So let's do it to it. The first thing I want to do is I want to talk about material icons. So we can use material icons if you grab this style sheet here and you put it in your, what I did in mine is I put it in the outside indexed HTML. You see it right here. Nope. You see it right here, line 8. I just copied it in. It's a style sheet. It's going to allow us to use the material icons. Material icons are symbols and so forth that allow us to very quickly get a picture, even though the picture it's not really truly a picture. It's more like a font that's really, really small to download. And so it's really beneficial to use these guys. So let's do it. Okay. The first part is I hate this. So we're going to use something different, but you'll see what I mean in a minute. Let's go ahead. We already did the thing, and you want to make sure that you actually stop the loading. You do not wish to load it. You want to actually close the window, in fact, because you're going to want to reload the whole thing, and it won't reload if because it's in this thing, it won't reload unless the thing is completely closed. All right, so let's get to it. In student detail HTML, we're going to add another TR. Now we want just one TD, but we want it to span 2 columns. So here we go. And now we're going to add an I. Class equals, I think it's like this. Could be wrong. We're going to see in a minute. I have it literally on an old project right here. It's material dash, not material plus. There you go. Also, is it icons or icon? Never remember. It's icons. All right. Boom, boom, boom. This avoids the span, which doesn't work very well, which we'll see. So now we go back to ng serve. I did the O, so we can pop it up. I mean, so it automatically opens. I don't have to wait. And so while we do that, while we wait for that, I'm going to go in the service, excuse me, student service, and I'm just going to add another endpoint. Actually, no. Okay, well, we're here. So there's your icon. Yay, there's the delete one. Oops, wrong one. Did I put delete instead of add? All right, give me 2 seconds. It's not the student list, it's in. It's one of those days already. Yeah. So we're going to go to edit, right? And then we're just going to wrap this because it's like an image. We're just going to go I'm already forgetting. Good news is we already have it somewhere else. Not the one I want. Where's the router link? I think it's in the student list, right? Yep, here it is. That's the one I want. I think. So that's the one I want. I want to go back to student detail, not the component. What you call it? There you go. I'm just going to paste this here. As you can see, this is a router link that links a student with their SID. I'm just going to replace the SID here with that and get rid of the TD because I copied it almost completely. There's your router link. Now I have to edit the page. Ooh, did I be able to save it? Yep, I think I didn't save it. There we go. Reload the page. That router link is not going anywhere. This is just an old version of the same thing. I'm just going to grab it. And we can see what we're doing wrong. Oh, here, right here. It should be edit student. Ta-da! Right? This isn't student detail. This should be edit student. It was going to the same page. It was actually just going to the same page, which is a silly error, honestly. But here we go. And now we have the edit student. Let's do delete. We got to add the service. Sorry, that was a really stupid error. Okay, so sort of how do I describe this as the normal? Now we're going to do this without a component. We're just going to have a method that's going to exist in a couple places. It's going to be pretty easy, but we're going to go ahead and add a student. So you see the get student, that's the closest we have to an actual delete. So we're going to go and call it delete student. It's going to take a string, and instead of being get, it's going to be delete. Yes, pink, which tracks. Like if you look at the student controller, it tracks exactly, right? So it's the same idea. Students, SID, boom. So it tracks exactly. So we're going to go ahead and create the service, which I just did. Boom. And then in the detail component, because we have to write code in the component because of the way we actually do things, we're going to have to write a delete student method, right? We're going to see how we do this in a minute, but essentially what we're going to do is we're going to call delete student. It's going to grab the student's ID because we have a student ID here, right? We can always grab the student ID. But on a call to delete student, what we're going to do is we're going to delete the student. So this dot service, student service, delete student. You got to do the subscribe bit. I'm already a fart. I'm gonna copy it all. Don't need it all, of course. But we don't care about errors, right? If it's error, we're just gonna ignore it because we're gonna go to the same place no matter what. We also don't care about the data, right? And you're like, wait a second, what? We literally don't care about the data. And you're like, wait, what? Okay, yeah, I do need to grab the student, right? Shouldn't have student this, right? Yeah, this student, student ID. Why does it not like it? Oh, I follow. Because it thinks it's an integer. There we go. Now it's a string. Burp. Now it's a string. Done. That's pretty easy, right? Then we got to create a method inside our component that does a method call for delete. The first thing I want to do is I want to grab the I class. And I want to go ahead and put it in here, and I want delete to be the I class. Now, how do I actually do this? Well, the easy way to do it is to create a button. I have it in code here, so I'm not going to waste time showing you, but you create a JavaScript on click demand. So what we're going to do is just create an aref. And all we're going to do is we're not going to do the router link. It's not actually going to have a link. It's just we're going to call it delete student. Wow, I actually have, we don't need that. So I'm going to take that off. We will need it in the other one, but there we go. And that will delete the student. Let me actually make sure we have the A on the other end. We do not. Let's go ahead and put it. I'm on Ruth. There we go. Check our code. Failed to compile because the closing. Oh, I see what's wrong. There's an. It's actually closing here because it's being stupid. There we go. Da da da. Stupid. Correct URL. Da da da. Now, got a couple of bad news. So some bad news here. Um, when I click delete, it deletes it, right? But we're still on the page. That's not right. It does actually delete it, as you can see, right? 2085. When I go back to my list of students, it's gone. We need to actually navigate to the back to the main page. So let's just do that real quick. Even on failure, we're going to still navigate because yep. Student detail and yeah, nope. Yep. Nope. This is the one I need. So we're going to, no matter what happens in the did I put the delete student in the wrong place? Oh no, we're not even looking at the right we're not even looking at the right one. All right, so student detail component. We're just going to make sure we navigate. Excuse me. We're going to go back to the student list. But you might have noticed that it doesn't actually show a link thing here when you move over the thing. You can actually fix that using JavaScript. I don't care. Note, there's no loss of what you call it. And I'll explain why in a minute. You go to edit, works. You go to delete, and it gets rid of it. Yay! And we can see we get rid of Omar Mariota. Oh wait, I thought I got rid of. Oh, I think I clicked edit. No, yeah, it's gone. So I click it, boom, and it's gone. And we can keep doing this all day, right? So we have whatever. Right, we can delete, keep deleting, and so forth. It's no actual loss of efficiency to do it this way, so there's nothing wrong with this method. However, we're going to see very quickly that this isn't going to work for everything. So what if I wanted to use the student list? I wanted to do the same basic work on the student list. So it's student list, and then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to add an extra TD. I'm sorry, give me a second. I need to do it here too. Okay. So bang, we're going to put an edit and delete here. And all I'm going to do is go grab the student detail component HTML stuff and copy those. We're going to change the delete a little bit because we'll need to. It'll be much easier to change it. So we're going to do that, but we're not actually going to do a whole lot. So watch this guy. Okay. So the edit student just goes in here, right? Student ID, still the student SID. That'll still work. Yes? Right? And that'll show up as it's supposed to. For the delete, we have to do some same kind of modification to delete. We need to add student SID to that. So we can't do the delete mechanism like we did before. So this isn't going to work, but we go to student list component. We go find it. And now now it becomes a lot. It'd be a string, doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's called SS in this for some reason. We also don't have the router because we never have a router, so we're going to need to add a router here. Nope, I need the router, not the thing. Go back to student lists, and I'm just going to add it right here. Easiest way to add it. And then I'm going to import it, I think. So now we have the router. You don't no longer have this SID. So I'm just going to pass the SID that I get from the thing. Again, no subscribe. we're going to just do the student list. Okay. Note, I'm just navigating to a student list. We'll talk about this and why it's not necessarily a great idea in just a second. But this is going to refresh the page, by the way, if you hadn't guessed, sort of. Oh, I have a somewhere there's a closing TD that shouldn't be. So let's go figure it out. Closing TD, close. Oh, here's just a random DD, right? There you go. That should fix that. And then, yeah, so we can just change this to it's the big int. It thinks it's a big int, so we can just go big int, and then JavaScript, buddy. We just add a string. Okay, that should make us all happy. Yay. Okay, so a couple things. That's meaningless. When I delete, let's pick Jesus Brady, right? I delete it, but it doesn't go anywhere. If I refresh the page, like literally refresh the page, I did delete it. This by itself does not actually reload the page. This does not work. I can do something like this, right? I believe that's how I do that. Or there's a way to refresh the page. So, oh, also doesn't work, but I am actually deleting it, right? There is a way to get rid of it, and I'm just going to look at the old code because I can do that. I can cheat. You guys can't. It's really simple. Yes. I have a method called update student list data, which looks exactly like ng-init. Yeah, that's what I did. I'm sorry, I couldn't remember. You can't call ng-init again because it won't work, but I can actually do all the ng-init stuff again. Bink. And now I can call this dot update list data. Right. Now when I delete it, it should go away. Of course it doesn't. I think I have to refresh the page. I don't remember how to do that. But I'm going to point out that this is a stupid way to do it. I'm going to add how to refresh the page later. I don't remember exactly how to refresh a page inside a component. But we're going to get to a point really quickly where I'm going to run out of students. So let's go ahead and add a student real quick. And add another student. They can all be Micah Ruth as far as I'm concerned. Boom. Okay, great. So we have two more students here. We can actually do this. This does work. The downside of this, and I'm not refreshing the page, and I do need to show you how to refresh the page. Maybe I'll Google it in 2 seconds anyway, but this is actually a terrible way to do it. Right now we only have 3 things. But essentially what happens is you have a remote list and you have a, what's in the database on the server and what's in the, now, when we refresh this, yeah, there's a way to refresh it. I just don't have it. Yeah, I think it does it in the sort. Yeah, I don't care. All right. But anyway, there's a way to refresh the page, but it's actually a bad idea. When we do this, we're actually going to get another copy of the data. We're actually going to get another copy of the data, which is very, very bad. And what happens, right? What pretty much happens is we actually go and get the data again. So you hit a whole new other request. But when realistically, we just want to get rid of this SID, right? That's all we need to do. We can actually do that without actually doing any of this stuff, right? Without actually refreshing the page. I will show you how to refresh the page, but we can do it without that. We just need to take the data. Oh, I know why it's not refreshing. I'm sorry. Needs to be in here. So brain farted. Yep, there you go. And this is actually refreshing the page. I apologize. I just put it in the wrong place. All right. This is a bad way to go. Don't do this. Okay, what I'm going to actually recommend doing instead is you have your student list, right? What if you filter out the SID and you go, wait a second, does that work? Yeah, no, that's the better way to do it. I'm sorry, I forgot how to write the function. You're actually passing a function in, right? And so it's going to filter out any student which matches the SID given. Yay! And why is this important? I deleted it just now without ever making a call to the server. This is always a better option. And so it's much better option than anything you might want to do, especially if you have a long list or you have larger data items. All right, we're going to drop right into what's called sessions. I'm going to stop recording so we can have these be separate.